Okay. Vam Ram Lam Yam Ham Om. Vam Lam Ram Yam Ham Om. So, what you just heard me chant is what's called the Beej Mantras, and that's Sanskrit. And you'll hear that sometimes romanized as the Bija Mantras, which translates to the seed sacred syllables. And so each of those syllables is tied to one of the chakras that you can see on the screen that I'm sharing with you. Those are the seven, or the six, excuse me, because the sixth and the seventh chakra share one syllable. But before I kind of go into teaching you these, which I will, and of course we'll all chant them together over the by the end of this presentation, I want to first confess something, which is that I didn't really prepare much for this presentation. And the reason for that is because I wanted to be presenting to you in my channel. And to me, that's really what this presentation is actually about. It's how to sit in yourself, how to be an open channel, and how to live in that place and engage the world from that place. Does that sound like something you guys would be interested in?
Awesome.
I see some head nods. Cool. So that's, to me, that's the entire purpose of spiritual practice. And chanting the Beej Mantras is just a way to get more receptive and become a greater vehicle for more energy to come through you in the present moment. So I'm going to go into why you should engage with the spiritual practice. And really, I'll say, before I even go into that, that there's many ways to get into your channel. I'm just going to talk about spiritual practice as one way. And chanting is just another way within spiritual practice. So there's two reasons that you want to be engaging with spiritual practice as a way to open up your channel. The first is just raw experience. Because when you're engaging with spiritual practice, you might end up, hey, I'm in a really open, receptive state while I'm doing this activity, while I'm engaging with this exercise. And so from that, you're going to just live more in your channel because you're literally living in it. The second thing is it helps build a foundation. On an energetic level and on a physiological level, you'll start to be able to engage life and life energy in a way where it's easier to metabolize and easier to integrate your experiences because you're more grounded, you're more centered, you're more in your body. And yes, I'm going to actually focus more specifically on this piece. The other piece is great, but you can't promise someone to have this really invigorated and enlivened experience through spiritual practice. What you can promise is the laying of a foundation, and those parts will come. And the beauty of laying that foundation is that you start to experience a more spiritual life in your everyday. So I'm going to break this down into a few different ways as to how you should find what is a spiritual practice that works for you. Again, today we're going to explore chanting, but these other pieces are just things to keep an eye on so that when you are going through some type of reflection and when you're engaging the spiritual practice, you can see if it resonates for you or not. So the first is you want to feel a connection to your body. And with this chanting, for example, where in your body are you feeling sensation? And just because you're feeling more sensation in your body, that starts to direct your attention rather than from your thoughts into those sensations. And that will slow the thoughts down and get you a little bit more in a neutral, open state. The second thing is breath control. By doing chanting in specific, you are practicing not just extending your breath, but also directing it in a certain way towards these syllables. And when you're doing this type of thing, you start to really engage life energy in a more visceral way. And this is sometimes called prana. There's so much that I can go into about why you want to increase your capacity for breathing. I'm going to save that for a different class. And I'm going to just move on to what else you want to look into as far as physiological and energetic tools to be cultivating with your spiritual practice. The third is focus. So when we're chanting, you're going to be focusing on the syllable. You're going to be focusing on the part of your body that you're feeling the physiological sensation, or even where you want to direct your attention, where you would like to be feeling the physiological sensation. That focus kind of keeps you in a certain area of your body. And you, as you expand your ability to focus, you expand your ability to control your attention and direct it in the ways that serve you. The fourth is awareness and expanding awareness. Not only are you focusing on one part of your body, but you're also going to be focusing on many different things at once. There's the sensations in the certain chakra we're chanting on right now, but then you're also getting ready to focus on what's the next syllable. What other sensations am I feeling in my body? Where are my thoughts going? And so the more you can manage the ways your attention and awareness are splintering and not feel overwhelmed by it, the more you are able to organize and hold many different things in your awareness, the more your awareness expands. And the last piece is surrender. So I know I went into a lot right now, and it could be a little overwhelming, all of the contextual and philosophical material. Just let it all go. Like it just, in the end of the day, this is all about what feels good and how do you feel relaxed. And as I'm speaking to this, yes, maybe you're receiving it cognitively, but just drop that in and see how it lands in your body. See, like let your subconscious just be washed over with it, and just enjoy your experience and see what happens. And just see where your attention naturally wants to go. That itself is its own really interesting exercise in curiosity and discovery, self-discovery. I like to live by this philosophy of lazy integrity. Do the thing you can do as lazily as you can do it, but in a way that makes you still feel good that you've actually done it. So those are the different pieces as far as when you're engaging in spiritual practice that you should be somewhat thinking, okay, when I'm exploring chanting, when I'm exploring meditation, when I'm exploring yoga, when I'm exploring giving and receiving polarity sessions, how do I feel? Are these things getting cultivated within me? So I know that was a lot. I'm going to just pause for a second. Let us breathe. Let us digest. If anybody's unclear about something, feel free to ask. But if it all makes some semblance of sense, you can give me a thumbs up or some sign that you have kind of understood the material. Cool, great. Okay, so with that, let's get into chanting, shall we? We're going to start by just saying each syllable one at a time. And I'm going to tell you where in your body to be focusing. But again, just let your sensations guide you a little bit during this process. So I'm going to ask you to, if you don't mind, turn on your mic so we can all kind of chant this together. If you feel comfortable. If you don't feel comfortable turning on your mic, that's totally okay. And we're going to just chant each syllable about 2 times so we can kind of get the feel for it. So we're going to start with Lam, which is in the root. So you want to be putting your attention a little bit in the pelvic floor region of your body as you're saying this. Okay, shall we start? Just go ahead and chant with me. Lam. Lam. Next, we're going to go to Vam. Vam is a little bit above that. It's just a little bit above the pubic bone. Okay, ready? Vam. Vam. Okay, now we're going to move to Ram, which is in the solar plexus. Just kind of think your navel center. Some people think a little bit above their belly button. Some people think on their belly button, some under. We're connected to the dantian, some a much larger area. And I just want to bring all of these availabilities to you because it's really a very personal experience, and just see what feels right for your body. There's no right or wrong here. Okay, with that, let's go with Ram. Ram.
Ram.
Next, we're going to do Yam, which is in the heart center, heart space. Okay, ready? Yam. Yam. And next is the throat, and we're going to be saying the syllable Ham. Now the final piece is going to be a syllable you might be familiar with, Om. And then Om is engaging the third eye, or the Ajna chakra, and the crown, top of the head. Okay. Good. Just feel that for a second. And in a few moments, we're going to be chanting them all at once. And you can try to do this in one big, deep breath. But if at any point you feel like, hey, I need to take a breath, that's totally fine. Just jump back in wherever you feel comfortable. And if the pacing is going a little too slow for you or too fast for you, it's okay to find your own rhythm with it. Just want to feel what it feels like to chant Lam, Bam, Ram, Yam, Ham, Om together. Okay. So we'll do this a few times. We'll try 3 or 4 depending on how everyone's feeling. All right, just try to chant with me, and then again, if you need your own rhythm, feel free. La. One thing I forgot to mention is if you forget the syllables, they're right there on the screen, so feel free to reference them. Okay, one more time. La. One more time. One final one. Anybody, would anybody like to share their experience, what they felt in their body or where they saw their attention go? Christy?
I love that you can feel the energy actually rising through the body. That kind of blew me away, that, you think you're saying sort of the same thing and you can actually feel the energy rising through the body.
Thank you. Good observation. Anybody else?
I have a question.
Oh, please, go ahead.
So can you just jump in and let's say that maybe you feel a little blockage in your solar plex, maybe just spend a lot of time just there and going up or going down, or how can you mix this up?
Yeah, it's you can totally freestyle with this. Just like any spiritual practice, make it your own. There's certain people that will say, hey, chanting it in a certain way will activate Kundalini energy. There's other people who will talk about the vibration of each syllable and what that does on a chemical and level to the cells in the body. And while all that is true, I would say the focus is what feels right and feels good to you and where is your intuition guiding you, and go ahead and follow that and explore and see, okay, I'm feeling stuck in, let's say, my stomach. I'm going to chant Ram a bunch and let's see what happens. And maybe something happens, maybe it doesn't, but that's kind of the joy of being in the curiosity of it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else?
I definitely,
Oh, sorry.
I definitely could feel the difference when you go to Om. Maybe it's because we all know Om, or it's a different sound, so much different than the other ones, but it definitely like changes the energy when you go up and then change from like Hum to Om. I felt much more engaged with it than when we did it in the practice one before. I think because I was maybe just ready for it. I wasn't as distracted.
Right.
And
you knew what you were expecting this time.
I wasn't distracted this time. No.
You knew what to expect this time.
Yeah, I think so. And also, I have so many like questions that are probably like maybe outside of this.
Sure, we can.
But like, do they have meanings? Like, do they have like an English translation for each of them, or is it just a sound only and it's not supposed to have a translation?
I'll just quickly touch on that. We can talk about it more offline. You can email me and I'll go into that more. But I'll just say they're called the seed sounds because it's about really activating that chakra, and all the other mantras are built off of those. Does that make sense?
Sorry.
I was just saying that they're the seed sounds because a lot of other mantras are built off of them. So they're kind of like a root syllable. I'll get into more of that offline, just to honor the time boundary. And then Laura, I know that you had a question again, just to honor the time bound, or you wanted to share your experience, but
just,
honor the time. Go ahead.
No, I don't need to. It's fine.
Okay, if you can type it in the chat or you can share with me after, no problem. I guess with that, we're coming to the conclusion of this teaching. Again, you can reach me at sunilkalwani@gmail.com or through the Facebook group if you have any questions about what we went into today. And before we wrap, I just want to say one final thing again, which is that the chanting isn't so much the focus here. It's more like, how am I engaging my body so that I can be an open channel? If you never chant again, I don't care. It's just, are you engaging the cultivation of your own sensory perception and awareness within your body? Find the spiritual practice that calls for you in order to do that. Okay, thank you so much, everybody, for joining me today. I will be sharing the recording, I believe, on the Facebook group. So look out for that. If you wanted a more personal email version of it, happy to share it that way too. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.